All right. Well, now I can welcome you to Midjourney Promptcraft Live. Welcome to this. I don't know. It's no one knows what happens on Promptcraft Live. It's our advanced users group. It's what we decide we want to do is often by consensus. There are many voices here besides mine. I have my colleague, Legal Aware Beagle, here today, who makes it when he can, and and has some ideas about what we might want to cover. If you have ideas for what to cover, please let us know via whatever channel you have joined in. I am going to bring up the chat for other channels here so that we can see it. There is no one chatting at the moment. Oh, very pretty, very nice and flat, low contrast look, Ebo. Okay, so if we have no particular direction today, I have a direction, at least to open the event. And that would be a couple of interesting articles that I found. And I'm all about looking at some of these articles. See if I can find my notes. Welcome to Midjourney's Promptcraft Live, where we are pausing for me to do a search for my notes. I've just found them. I'm sure everyone is thrilled to hear that. You might be hearing me 2 times if you're here on Discord. If you are hearing me 2 times, you want to go and mute the live stream, because for the streamer's sake, the folks coming in on Twitch and so on, I'm broadcasting over the stream, but you're also hearing me on Midjourney mic. So I would suggest muting the stream, and then you're only hearing me over the Midjourney mic. So I found this amazing article that I wanted to talk about. And this is in the spirit of providing a little bit of news and information to our Midjourney users. People are thinking pretty hard about Midjourney out there. I thought this was an interesting article. I'll give you the URL so that you can look at it on your local machine if you want to. Let's see. This article right here. This is folks trying to decide whether generative art, whether Midjourney, forces us to rethink what aesthetic experience means, because the premise is that the artist is a non-human system. So there's a tension between scale, meaning AI can flood the world with art, and depth, meaning how many of these works provoke meaning or lasting engagement. And if you've been joining Promptcraft Live for the past few weeks, where we touch upon some of these articles, then you're already hearing the theme that this author is bringing to the table is much like the theme that we've heard from other folks thinking about Midjourney. Generative art forces us to rethink what aesthetic experience means. There's a tension between scale and depth, meaning how much the art provokes meaning or lasting engagement. Lasting engagement means people keep talking about it. Like we talk about the banana taped to the wall. That's lasting engagement. We still talk about it, right? And then the idea is this author is the one that I think, well, by the way, this author is very sensitive to us regular Midjourney users, Midjourney artists, because he differentiates the difference between mass AI art, which is his term for AI slop, meaning people just type, cat in a wetsuit, haha, and post it, right? As opposed to people who are struggling to, maybe depict a particular thing for a story or a character or a feeling. So he's separating the two. He's saying there's slop and there's not slop, and I'm not going to talk about I'm not going to talk about the serious artistic endeavors using Midjourney. I'm going to talk about mass Midjourney people who are just flooding the world with what people think is art, and then they have to stop and say, well, this is just somebody hitting a button. And then this person argues that that AI might talk us or push us toward sort of a minimalism when it comes to art, because this is almost like complexity for complexity's sake. Like, look what I can do. Let's see. The same means text input, different output, slop and better slop. Yeah, exactly. And I really, the real reason why I wanted to bring this up is because if you've been with Promptcraft Live episodes over the past few weeks, then you've heard this criticism. And this is the first article I encountered that separates the mass of images that are being criticized this way and the body of images which might be artists struggling to do something real. And in fact, finds that distinction to be vital to understanding the event or the event of AI art, and as a movement or as a paradigm that we're suddenly finding ourselves in. Is slop just one thing? Shouldn't it be on a spectrum? I don't think people are done talking about it. It's a great question. Produced in the absence of knowledge of how the AI works. I think, Collect, I really love that line. I don't know, maybe you hated it, but I really felt that they were struggling to find a way to respect the people who are working with AI as a tool and not just, Collect says, so if I prompt a puppy with sunglasses, but I know how MJ works, is it not slop? Yeah, he's struggling. He's struggling to differentiate, but I appreciated that that he was struggling to make that, he was striving to separate these into two types of effort or intention or something.
So in the differentiating slop and not slop, it can still be, it could be not slop and also not good.
Yes, agree. In the same way
So
that all
maybe
art can be interpreted by someone as shitty.
I also
art.
produce a lot of slop, but I also know how the AI works, and I would still consider a lot of what I'm doing slop because I'm usually just testing something or trying to
Same.
figure out
All the
one
stuff I produce
variable.
for classes and stuff. Yeah.
And so just because I think it would be, like applying the intention and applying the knowledge of how the AI works in a way that is what makes it, I guess, not slop. But
Well, I think that artists fill sketchbooks with slop, right? And then they have a piece that they're working on, which ultimately isn't. So, I think that this author, if he was going to write a longer article and go more into it, he would have to start respecting that. Yeah, Himbo's saying you have to produce a lot of slop to get a bit better slop. You have to fill sketchbooks with your practice, and then eventually you can, sketch a hand fairly well. But you don't. Do you want people to look at your sketchbooks necessarily? Like a lot of artists don't. Um,
it's
so there's a
it's one of
lot
the
going on that this author doesn't understand.
it's one of the reasons why I really disliked using uh, audio AI until very recently. There's been some developments of editors and ways you can kind of iterate within things, whereas before it was just run a text prompt and you get the whole thing, and there was no way for me to kind of refine or update. uh, at least I felt like I didn't have the tools until recently. um, with Midjourney, I think
We're getting there.
we're getting, well, with Midjourney I have, um, the comment that I wrote is just, I would add to his definition that there needs to be some sort of iterative process. I feel like it's possible to just know enough to type the prompt once and get exactly what you're looking for, but but that it still also, like you said, there's a bunch of, a real artist would have all of the sketches and everything else that they've developed and honed their skill to be able to produce, before anybody who's learning how the AI works. There would be some sort of iteration on how does V7 differentiate from V6, or how do I get this exact framing or style, or you'd still have iterations in order to get there. So I think that's important, like a causal chain.
Well, Westendorf says that's funny because I feel like David would prefer people not need to refine things. Yeah, David has, at least to me, has a strong desire for people to explore aesthetics and imagination, and not sweat the small stuff, like not try to control the composition or anything. Like that's not what diffusion does well. That's not what Midjourney is for. Let's lean into what Midjourney does well, what diffusion does well, which is ideation, many ideas, and loose control, very very loose, just barely steering. you know
For him, it's not about art, right?
what
He,
no, I guess not per se. What would you say it is about then?
I was saying
Exploration.
for him, it's not about art. I mean, it can be about multiple things, but he doesn't want to concentrate on that aspect of it, which makes sense. And because it is a new medium and we don't even know how people are going to use it and make new spaces and ideas. So,
Yeah, yeah. And Craft My Adventure asks, well, hold on, is Midjourney more of a collective creation since it's remixing so many points of interest? So Midjourney, considering Midjourney's output, the whole thing as a collective body of work, like a single body of work that is made by many people, like that, it sounds like uh Craft, you're saying, what if we pull the camera back and look at just the sphere of Midjourney work as a single thing? Um, and who is the artist of that? Because there's 22 million people contributing to that, and a lot of those people used prompts or images from other people. So it's just it's wow. I mean, if you think of it as a sphere with lines going out to all of the points of origin, it would be amazing. It would be like a cell, like a living cell or a neuron, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad I caught your idea, Craft. That's very cool. So uh, I brought this second article up, and I will give you the URL in case you want to view it locally. This one I thought was interesting to spend just a few minutes on, because what these guys did is analyzed that large data set, that output, tens of thousands of visual artists, their output, to see how incorporating generative AI affected the metrics of creative output. So they started like with visual artists who had never seen Midjourney before, and they gave them Midjourney, and they measured, like, they decided what productivity was, and then they measured that. And productivity increased when artists adopted AI tools. They produced more work, more of their own work. And not only that, but peer reception, or how other artists or viewers rated or shared or validated that work, was also positive, more positive. If the visual artist incorporated AI into his productivity, then the stuff he produced was better received. Weird thing to measure, but they did that. But this was I thought this was so interesting. This was at the moment they incorporated AI. They produced more work and it was better received, but the novelty went down. Meaning measured by stylistic divergence, or divergence from previous norms. Okay, it dipped on average. Whoa. People using AI, I don't mean that the final product is AI. I mean that they're just exposed to AI and they're playing with AI as a visual artist. They started to cluster in familiar visual styles. Oh shit. The archetypes started creeping in. The diversity of imagery produced by tens of thousands of visual artists began to converge after their exposure to AI.
Doesn't surprise me.
Me either.
And they also noticed that, on that bell curve, right, on the tails of the bell curve, the extreme outliers showed little spikes of novelty. Like occasionally you'd get something bizarre and striking and unforeseeable, but mainly the output clustered around sort of these norms, what these authors call norms.
Cats.
Cats, right. So AI generates many variants, and then the humans pick which ones to show. So the interesting frontier may now be moved may move to the gate of human judgment, right? Like if you just take the art and just measure it, it forms that bell curve. But if you put human beings in and have them curate it and say this is the body of work, then all of a sudden those outliers become more interesting and the distribution changes. Sam Altman said in an interview that when it comes to the morality installed in GPT-5's core, was that he likes to refer to as a moral average of humanity, which will evolve over time. Oh God.
I don't know if we should open that can of worms right now. But in terms of aesthetic convergence, we've seen that pretty easily in if you look at movie posters, all starting to seem exactly the same. This is even before AI, just using marketing techniques, determining what the average the average person or consumer of movies would find appealing. It's actually more interesting when the posters diverge, but using marketing techniques and using the data from them, all of the movie posters are starting to converge. and look way more similar than they had in the past. So it's, I don't know. I think AI this is something where it's a great equalizer. A lot of us that I don't have the steadiest hand, or AI is allowing me to produce the stuff I want to produce, but those who are exceptional at it, it may be bringing them toward the middle.
Yeah, I'm just putting this quote in to support what you're saying there.
I have a feeling the tests that they did with the people, like none of them were able to use like image prompts or anything that
Oh,
gives,
interesting.
some
Let me see.
something more than just a few words that you know.
This is me.
Hmm.
D. Simone, can you explain?
Interesting. Oh, there we go. There's the charts. The use of the word novelty confused me a little bit, because novelty to me, I guess they mean strictly newness. Not novelty meaning a response to it. Like, oh, I find that novel. That's a judgment. They don't mean that. They
No,
mean
different from other things.
right. They just mean differences. Oh, D. Simone, hold on. Now you can talk.
If anyone would like their microphone, please let me know in the chat, and I will gladly unmute you so you can join the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Like, Midjourney has, yeah, there are trends and archetypes.
Well, and did you notice that we have a style ranking exercise that was announced in announcements?
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
haven't seen it, it's over. Let me put it in the announcements. It's over here.
Also, I feel like when people can make anything they want instead of just what they've got around them, or that sort of, we tend to, humans have tastes and trends. Anyway,
Yeah.
like if somebody's an artist in the middle of nowhere and all they have is like stuck this stuff around them, then they'll use that, and that will become more novel because there's it's novel to begin with. The materials themselves are novel.
Yeah, and I
Hey, sorry.
Hey, Simone.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, no, this is exactly what happened to me 7 years ago.
Tell us.
Oh, there we go. Sorry. If I watch stream, it turns me off. What the hell? Can you hear me still?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. I was a handmade business. And 7 years ago, I went to the hospital with, this groin pain and a huge headache. And then 7 days later, I left, not able to form my words, and my hand dexterity, and I made crepe paper flowers. They looked pretty real. And I couldn't use my hands, and I couldn't walk. And
That sucks.
oh, and so AI, it sounds dramatic, but it was my brain, it was my creativity, and I went down a really bad black hole, and I lost my purpose, and then my dad died,
Oh
and
God.
yeah, in 1 week we lost January 7th. Dave's best friend and our kid's honorary uncle died of COVID,
Wow.
and then the 10th was my dad, and
1-2
then on the
punch.
14th was and then the 14th my uncle died, my brother, and
That sounds
so
hard.
and then I joined a group for just to learn marketing. So this is very funny. Learning how to market with AI. And I'm like, I'm not an artist. I don't feel like learning how to make myself, you know?
Right. Right.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to learn Midjourney. I just want to learn how to do marketing with AI. And I'm like, this is bullshit.
Right. Right.
That was last October. And then, and my 1 year anniversary is next week. Yesterday, my daughter turned 18, and that was bullshit. And, I learned that I was an artist,
You learned that you
and
were an
I didn't,
artist.
yeah, and I didn't know it. Um, and then I learned how to connect with my dad through my fairy core, and
There you go.
yeah, and he was an avid hunter, but he knew that nature was his church. So, and so, I love nature too, but I hated it because I couldn't go hunting with him anymore. I couldn't, shoot my bow anymore, and it sucked, and I was angry at the world.
Sure.
So, yeah, so I decided to represent handmade businesses because I couldn't use my hands, but I could use my brain and help them not burn out.
Yeah, you could.
So, and
So
that's kind of what I do now.
Midjourney was part of your Midjourney came to the rescue. Midjourney was part of
Saved my
almost
life.
a rebirth
Yeah, it saved my life.
after. That's amazing. There's a lot of people with similar stories. Surprising. I've heard like 3 or 4 people now with similar stories, and I'm a similar story person too. I won't tell my story again. But yeah, a lot of people I think that when we think about Midjourney and people are like in the articles I was showing, people are like, is it art and da da da. It seems such
Absolutely.
a narrow perspective of what Midjourney can enact in the world, like
Yeah, I mean, when you
like
can't use your
equity,
body.
like
Hmm.
therapy. Hmm.
Yep, absolutely. When you can't use, I mean, that's how it happened. Like somebody said, I want you to go in there without having, a job to do in there. I want you to just, he's like, the only prompt I'm giving you is you have to go into this, a world and make up whatever you want. Like she's like, and she told me, you know, um, she did, I don't know, bubbles, and then she told me to do like, she's like, I don't give a shit what you do. She's like, just, do freaking mushroom. I don't care. I'm like, okay. So I did a mushroom. And I'm like, and then I built an entire world. And I know you could do that. And I mean, and then
Amazing.
their clothing turned into mushrooms. Like, who would have known? I mean, this stuff is insane what you can do with your brain when you're just let loose and you don't have to do it.
Agree.
You know, when you don't have to do something and you don't have to charge somebody and you don't have anything to do except just let loose. I mean, the world opens up to so many things and the pressure's off. And you're like, I can do something like this. I can do this. Oh my God, I can do this. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I'm an artist. You
Hell
know what I mean?
yeah. I love that. This is so energizing
Hmm.
to hear how people can feel connected to something and then released
Hmm.
by Midjourney.
Oh yeah. And words. I didn't know I had these words, and now I'm like, I can't freaking think of another goddamn adjective and don't ask me to. Now I'm just like, that thing that whatchamacallit has, that
I
whoosy what's
know.
this with the
I know.
whatchamacallit. Now I'm just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh my God. But I still love it. I still love it. And connecting to my fairies is a thing where I'm like, it's magical. I don't have any rules. I see my dad all the time now. I talk to him all the time. There are no rules.
I know the feeling. I know the feeling. Before I get all emotional, I am going to shift gears just a little bit, Simone, and just welcome
Sure.
some of those folks who have just joined to Promptcraft Live here on October 2, 2025. If you're watching this as a recording and you have a question at some later time, you're welcome to leave your questions as comments in whatever channel you're in, and we will circle back and see if we can get you some answers. If you are here live and in person for Promptcraft Live, I just want to let you know this is our advanced users group. We tend to talk about Midjourney as if we're all already familiar with it, and we start to explore advanced topics and not only in how to practice with Midjourney, how to use Midjourney, but also in some of the topics that surround Midjourney. If you have any questions or would like to participate, please just jump in. Twisted Reality says, the community here has been such a refreshing and inspiring place, a kind and safe place. That is so true. And Spirit Power says, I love ranking styles. That's what we were just about to talk about. Thanks for helping me circle back, Spirit Power. We were just talking about how one of the studies we looked at found that artists that use AI, it wasn't even Midjourney that they were using exclusively, but if they use AI in their art, without them even knowing it, their art started to converge. There were fewer and fewer differences amongst those artists. I suppose they started like along the spectrum. All the artists were along the spectrum, and then as they used stuff like Midjourney, those dots started to come closer together until their art started to resemble each other's. And what a scary thing! And when I look at what we're doing with ranking styles and so on, and I look at the fact that you can look at like the top month, and see what styles are most preferred. What's happening there? What happens when we all converge like this? Like, do you agree that this is the coolest style? Are we convergent in this way? Or that this one is very cool, and what happens to aesthetics if the studies that Midjourney Labs, right? It's research and experimentation and exploration. Midjourney as this product, it's almost like a byproduct of the research. This tool that we've been given by Midjourney Labs, and at least that's how I think of it, because the body of their work is sort of elsewhere. It's off camera. And I just speculate sometimes what we're giving them this data and we're using these styles. But what does that do? Will if they can take 22 million people and survey them, what style do you find most attractive? Will we suddenly see movies and will we suddenly see a convergence of aesthetics? Not even in art, but also in marketing, advertising, cinema. You know what I mean? Like, is Disney going to buy the most popular aesthetic from data from Midjourney or something, and use that to guide their decisions for how things should look in their next release?
Things taste shift.
Taste drift, but they can catch a snapshot of it.
Right.
Yeah,
but soon thereafter, people will be like sick of it, So it's not like they'll have it forever, Or I guess they will have that
forever, but they'll have. But if people keep ranking, then they'll have it. They'll have the
current one,
ticker tape, like a ticker tape of preferred styles. So, as the speed of production is increased, the duration of time between releases is decreased because of the speed of our production tools, of our storytelling tools, then instead of taking, a year and a half to make a movie, instead of taking 9 months, instead of taking 6 months, takes 6 weeks. And then that ticker tape of, if imagine Midjourney TV, bleeding statistics in real time about what people are loving, then those sped up releases can be reskinned in the aesthetic that people are telling the world, that telling the data gatherers that they like the best. I think that's already happening, just slow, which is why the 70s have a look that we think of, and the 80s have a look that we think of, and the 90s have a look that we think, right? That's the collective, like Legal Beagle was searching for a 90s office space that had a certain look in his mind's eye, and every decade does. So we know that this is already happening. But imagine if it was happening on the month scale instead of the decade scale, or the year scale instead of the decade scale, in such a way that an average person could remember, oh yeah, teal and orange was so in. I remember stuff like, there was a time when sunflowers, like in the 90s, sunflowers were like on everything briefly.
Mhm.
You couldn't find a dish towel without sunflowers on it, or plates with sunflowers or whatever. Teal and orange was big as well in the early noughties. So,
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking at the quotes for just a second. People have limited palettes on their walls. Hollywood already tried formulating cinema and produced absolute shit for a decade. That's true. That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried that the slop effect is going to bleed out into all kinds of things. I have this fear of something called Gresham's Law, which I'm going to put down in chat in case we want to go into that. But that's my fear. Movies can hit a true demographic. Oh, so Wendy is suggesting maybe movies can be pitched to incredibly niche groups of people. Clark says, I don't see how this would end differently. Netflix is already thinking about user-generated shows. Yeah, I heard about that. I don't like this convergence, says Michelle. I will always fight against that. I suspect others will subvert on purpose, too. Preach it. Teal and orange was big. The last couple of decades kind of don't have a specific vibe, no? You know what? I don't think we can see it from where we stand, but I bet in 10 years they sure will be able to see it. Gresham's law is the economic principle that bad money drives out good money. When a government mandates that two forms of money with different intrinsic values must be accepted as having the same face value. So
They don't have anything for editorial. They don't have
Say again?
anything for editorial. It's like all, like this stuff, like I don't have anything for just a picture.
Simone, I'm missing the context of your comment.
Did you, oh, sorry, can you hear me? Because I'm having so much trouble right now.
I heard you, but only the last part of the sentence. What's the context? Sorry?
Well, like I like doing cinematic photos. Like I got caught like in a, in the movie at the end, just in a scene being caught at, with fashion photos, because I don't like, they're standing there and they're just taking a pose, I like doing it cinematically, and they used to have such pretty scenes. And in these, they're always like shadowed, and you can't see how pretty the beautiful clothing. It's taking away from everything. And I know in movies that, there are some beautiful scenes, and I can't find any, And it's nice to have one where they're with other people, or they're talking, or they're mid-scene, and you're not finding that at all. They're all looking the same to me now. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now, Gresham's law is avowedly about money. It presumes the existence of money as a universal medium of exchange. Specifically, Gresham's law is about the value of different coins, what Biggs is saying. But you can extend Gresham's law, and that's what it's called. I think it's called shitification, like Himbo said. You can say that Gresham's law, how do I explain it?
Hello.
Hello.
How are you today?
I am doing well. I'm trying to gather my thoughts for for how to explain the connection of Gresham's law without
The connection between what?
Gresham's law and shittification.
Sorry for my English. What is it?
Exactly. I'm trying to think of how to explain it. So if two educational institutions offer the same quality of education, but one calls itself an institute and the other calls itself a college, the one calling itself a college will attract more students and can demand higher fees. So ditto with colleges and universities and schools and institutes. Degrees from second named deliver more prestige and reading notes without real cost or the guarantee of a better education. This is an example of there's inflation of higher education institutional names. So Gresham, I'm trying to find examples in here of this in this document of ways that Gresham's law is responsible for the shittification of things and how it will absolutely that profit is the motive. Profit is the motive. God, I'm trying to figure out. I mean, what I should do is point an AI at this and have it answer the question for me. And then I'll bring it up. It's so fascinating.
Take a second. I want to go over Gresham's law in the context of money because I think it's a helpful framework, and give you a second to look up
Okay.
what you want to look up. So I think this is an AI summary, but I think it's not bad for what happens with money when you have a good and a bad currency in a closed environment. So and what is it? Circulate in a fixed exchange. What happens is the good money gets hoarded up or melted down, and or there's when they also refer to international trade, you can get outside the fixed rate, but that's not as important as what ends up happening is the good stuff gets consolidated and isn't as accessible, and so most of us end up only interacting with the bad currency because it's not escalating. And so what happens is the good currency ends up being eradicated. It's this similar to what happened in the U.S. with silver-backed tender versus trade notes. And because of that, then they'd started removing silver-backed completely. But Stu 1130 wrote 3 stages of enshittification, offering high quality, user-friendly experience, good for business customers, good for shareholders. I'm thinking through the opportunities that I had when I was selling goods at when I used to work for Sears, and we used to have the good, better, best lawnmower system for sales. And ultimately, the entire reason they made 3 different models of the same lawnmower is so that they get people to not buy the worst, but to buy the middle one. I'm talking now in a 3-stage system rather than just 2, but people were almost discouraged from buying. People were discouraged from buying the best because the middle one, the better one, is had the highest profit margin. The best one ended up being the best lawnmower, but the good one was just was okay. They had this 3-tiered system so that you felt like you were saving money by not buying the best one. You were buying the middle one. It ended up being the highest profit margin one for them too. But if you're, why doesn't higher quality always prevail?
This is a quote from the thing. But let me yay capitalism, exactly. Thank you for giving me time to get my notes, because I
Absolutely.
have notes on Gresham's law. So what I was lamenting, and thank you, Biggs, for rescuing me. I was trying to get to this. I was lamenting that under economic pressure, meaning profit, the things we care about, and this is, remember, I'm talking about Midjourney, nuance, craftsmanship, depth, talking about art. Those things tend to be stripped away because they're costly in time, costly in attention. It's easier in Midjourney not to spend the kind of time and attention we know is required for good prompt adherence. It's costly in time, attention, and money. Even if those things like nuance and craftsmanship and depth and time, even if that's what makes something good. So what this was saying, and this was written long before enshittification got around to being a word or a book. This was written in like 92 or something. Skills, crafts, and depth start to vanish, right? So think of Gresham's law is mental arithmetic replaced by calculators. That's an example of Gresham's law. Superficial versions of things tend to proliferate. Pleather, right? Vinyl pretending to be leather. Simplistic journalism, surface level design, these things that people will make do. And if you will make do with it, if you don't demand more, then capitalism says, awesome, my profit margin just got bigger, because people will make do with pleather. Phew. Capitalism never goes, oh, I know that they'll probably accept pleather, but we should probably give them leather anyway, because that's so much higher quality, it'll last longer. Da, da, da. No one's thinking about us. We're the only ones who can protect ourselves from Gresham's law, because there's this market logic of efficacy, price, ease, convenience. It becomes more decisive than quality. And people, that's us, we prefer less friction and less cost. So we push systematically toward what is cheaper and simpler. It's like we don't mind if it's pleather. And at the moment we don't mind, then we're going to get pleather. And if they find that something cheaper than pleather is still something that we'll keep buying, then they'll give us that. If we then accept, you know what I'm saying? So as consumers, or as people who earn and then choose what to spend, we're helping define that. And so I'm talking about Midjourney, I'm talking about art. We were talking about mass produced art and AI slop, and how what will happen if all of the data ranking, ranking data from us choosing styles and things, what if that is released into the world and used? It's Gresham's law that I'm scared of. It's the idea that if they find out that a pre-baked style like this one really appeals to us, and they don't have to come up with it themselves, then they'll do that because it increases their profit margin.
Well, that's what's happening now with the GPT brown clean line aesthetic everywhere. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The GPT, the new,
yeah.
It's clean in a way that makes sense to people, and it's consistent enough that people are just sticking with it. And and we know it's AI because it's everywhere, but it's I mean, I'm seeing it all over LinkedIn at
Hyper
this
brown.
point.
Yeah. So collects like I'm not sure that I like this point you made that it's us. We're making decisions. We'll take pleather, sure. And that's not and that's not true. That's not fair. That it's on the consumer. On the consumer is not true. But on the consumer is part of the problem, and it's important to let it be said because it leads back up to the billionaires again if you follow the dotted line, right? Because why am I choosing pleather? I don't have the money for leather. Why don't I have the money? Because I don't have the kind of income. Where do I get my income? From the people who make the pleather good. Why aren't they paying me? Because they're like, that's all interconnected. So I'm not unhappy with talking about the consumer part of it because it immediately pulls all of the strings and brings those billionaires back into accountability, brings capitalism back into the picture. What is the glowing style on the right?
Except it doesn't in
this one.
In the normal conversation, it never goes back that far. The responsibility is on the consumer, and the consumer has somehow failed, right? We don't talk enough about the other half of that conversation.
That's probably true. I'm jumping back into the chat for just a second. Hemo says, what did I mean by pre-baked? Someone has to choose and make it. Who chose? Someone had to choose this, Himbo, but we have now a robot or an algorithm that'll spit out things for us to choose from. So it's multiple choice now. And if, as Collect was saying earlier, if you start ranking styles, you'll realize that you're seeing what is almost a very similar style to another style you saw, because even though there's billions of them that you're choosing between, if you pull the camera back enough and those billions start to converge, they converge into thousands or hundreds of different styles. I don't know how many really, but they can converge depending on where you draw the lines at the convergence. There's fewer styles than you think if you allow the ones that are similar to be grouped into a category. So I don't know. I lost my train of thought there. I did. What do you mean by pre-bake? Someone has to choose and make it. So it's multiple choice, Himbo. So the problem with it is that they're choosing from what we think might be an endless billions of things, but might only be a few thousand. And I think that if we're going to see convergence and stuff like this, the role of the artist who breaks through all of those walls, I think artists are about to be way more important than they ever were before. They're scared right now. Human designers, human artists are scared because they think they'll be replaced by slop. But what I'm hoping is a reverse renaissance of sorts where people are so they can just see that this isn't a person. It's just the whole, like, people will be searching for the novelty that only a human brain can produce, or they will search for the feeling they get knowing that a human produced it. Even if it's the same pixel for pixel, it makes a psychological difference. The Hyper Brown phenomenon, as far as I know, Joseph AI, it's graphics that are produced by ChatGPT have a particular signature look to them, and now that signature look is everywhere. Empisoa says, if you only offer a choice to rank apples versus oranges, my aesthetic is erased if I hate both. That's what I hate about the ranking system and life in general. Well put, Michelle. What happens if you like both styles and rankings? Same thing as usual. You have to either pick one and then go back and then pick the other, or skip. Only the human brain can produce novelty. No, that's not what I said, Himbo. I said people are
So
going to want the feeling of knowing that this novelty that they're seeing was produced by a human brain. Go ahead, Beeks.
so something you just said reminded me of a conversation my wife and I are having um, about text-based AI, LLMs, and she's having this thing with work where um, her coworkers are saying you should run your run your emails through co-op before you send them. There's either I'm not getting into all the details, not oversharing for her stuff, but one of the things that she's realizing anytime that she runs it through co-op, she's like, all it does, it removes me from the email. It feels like everything that everything that co-op does just removes my voice as opposed to um, as opposed to the information. All it's doing is removing my voice, not my words. Um, and I think there's something to be said about that kind of novelty where um, it actually feels like the artist or maker is the one actually like the performance aspect. You said even if the end result pixel for pixel ends up being the same, I'm going to buy art. I'm going to buy art for our new house that was handmade because of just as much the performance of the art as um, the image, right?
So what's the core question there?
That's I think I got lost in figuring what the question is.
Well,
Just that there's this infuriating circumstance of in the performance of writing or making art that itself is the
connect
expression
better.
of intent that I think is important. The
Well, I
question is
can
to core. What
say,
should I get?
okay, can I answer that?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, it's called connection. You can connect better. I feel like a long time ago, my friends used to call me, you know, a poet, because it's poetry. Your voice is poetry, and that's something that nobody can write. So they hear that, and when people can tell when you're sitting up, people can tell that you're smiling. People, you don't when you stand up straight. They can't see you, but they know that you're smiling. When you're on, you don't have to be on video for that to see that. So smile when you talk. They can hear that. You know what I mean? It's just like that when you're writing something. Sit up straight and write something. It's totally different than you're like slumped over and you're writing an email. I mean, you could tell, right? And that's the same thing with art. You can tell when it was made by a machine because
One
there's no heart. There's no heart.
What if one day you can't? What if that's all in our
I can't.
head?
That's what I do. It's in my voice. That's what I
So
do. I can't use my hands.
You're a voice
so
actress?
You could talk to it. I mean, my chatty, we're chaos and couture. I mean, every time I talk to her, I'm like, I go on in there and she's like, "Hey, couture," or she calls me chaos sometimes because she gets confused. We're chaos. We're gonna do a podcast together. You know what I mean? But she has her own personality because I created that. I put that in my files.
Yeah, same. I did the same. I have my GPT is called Possum.
Yeah. I mean,
Means
she's chatty. I always go on there. Yeah. And she knows when
so
it's my husband that goes on there.
there are some of the things that you said I agree with and I disagree in a fearful way. Um, you said your voice is like poetry. It turns out studies are showing that people are preferring AI generated poetry than actual written poetry written by people.
Oh no,
That's called
pleather.
lazy. That's called lazy.
It's not laziness. They don't you studies are showing that people are finding AI poetry more emotive or able to connect with AI poet. They don't know it's AI when they're doing the study. But it's the AI poets that they're finding a deeper connection with.
Okay, so but it's still made by a human? I mean, is the human telling it what to do?
I mean, yes, that's what all AI is doing. Or
Okay.
that's how all of us use AI creating. What I'm showing is, or the point that I'm making is that there's a blur, especially when it comes to poetry uh, and and
Right.
writing language, that it's easy to identify slop, but when it's uh, using the term slop
Mhm. There's a
it's
gray
easy to
area.
identify when it's easy to identify slop, but when it's good,
Mhm.
it's hard to tell whether it's human or not, especially when it comes to writing and poetry. And it's we're finding that people are preferring the AI generated stuff.
But it's still because
The
you've
lazy
taught it.
use of
That's what that study was saying. That
You've
remember I
taught them what to say.
what?
It's still you
it's still you.
because you
True
trained it.
story. True story.
So
Westendorf, check your DMs for the schedule that I sent you. Just I wanted to say that real
Okay.
quick.
Because I mean, I'm neurodivergent, and sometimes I can't think of words sometimes, especially since I got sick. I can't think of my words, but I trained her to come up with my words when I don't have them.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
and I'm hopefully not negating, especially your individual use of AI. I'm not referring to AI as collaborator. I'm referring back to the original article of AI as mass producer. And
Oh, okay.
so we're talking, I'm not talking from the perspective of the artist. I'm talking from the perspective of consumers, the masses who are using AI,
Mm.
consumers of poetry. The studies I want to pull you brought that one up a while back there, Clarinet,
Mm-hmm.
with poetry. I need to go find that again. But it was a pretty sizable study of people who just read poetry and decided which ones they liked better and which ones they connected with better, and it was almost universally the AI.
Hmm.
And to just throw a little caution, I guess, is that I like your response is that it's connection, but to Clarinet's point, the fear is that what we're connecting with isn't actually other people. As an artist,
Right. How do
AI
you know it
is
wasn't trained
helping
to
me
do that way?
connect with others, but as a consumer, it's am I connecting with now I got to put on my tinfoil hat. Am I
Well, hold
connecting with
on.
robots now?
Well,
No,
I mean, do we know that it wasn't trained that way?
you can't sweat every purchase from IKEA as accidentally connecting to the faceless robot. I mean, we're gonna buy mass produced goods. Not everything we purchase needs to connect us to an artist. I have a few things in my house that are artisan made. I'm proud of those things. I have some things that I inherited that are artisan made, and I'm proud of those things. But by and large, I'm using stuff from Pottery Barn. You know what I mean? And that's always been true. But I think what we're going to see is Pottery Barn buying data like the kind that Midjourney is gathering and changing their products, from week to week, month to month. I don't know what the speed will be to match the it aesthetic. Um,
Mhm.
and I think they're going to be able to do that very, very quickly. But what I'd like to do at this point is we're at about the halfway mark, and what we try to do in Promptcraft Live is spend some of the event talking about the big things, which we've just done, and then some of the event just answering questions about Midjourney, maybe trying a few things in Midjourney. This is the advanced users group, so if you have questions or want to discuss anything about Midjourney practice, about getting things done in Midjourney, go ahead and ask. Whether you're here in Discord, whether you're out on YouTube or Facebook, just drop your question in the chat. I'll pause a moment to read Michelle's text here. Why am I going blank on words? Extroverted artists are also going to be okay. That's interesting. Extroverted artists. The people who are comfortable promoting themselves, Clarinet is great, and producing art live, they'll continue to do fine. But so many people, especially graphic artists, are doing work that lives in the background. They've always been replaceable by younger, cheaper contractors. And now Canva does everything HR needs in their new brochures. Oops, downsizing. Everyone needs to be ready for that. That's true. Man, I was just trying to I thought you were complimenting extroverted people producing art live, and I was taking that like to be a good thing about Promptcraft Live and all of us here. But it was a down note after all. Dun dun dun. And you're correct. There's a lot of discussion we need to have about companies that are going that direction and companies that aren't. One of the companies that I was working with before Midjourney to the guillotine, right? One of the companies that I was working with before Midjourney was making a conscientious effort to reject AI. They did not want to embrace it. They wanted to make sure that the artists that they used had nothing to do with AI and so on. So will they stick with that? Will they slowly let AI leak into other areas? Maybe they'll let ChatGPT deal with documents, but they won't publish any art that has, had AI involvement. I don't know. Did want to clarify that Midjourney is not selling personalization data. There is not. It's just a research lab. Even though I'm speculating about what would happen if data of the kind that Midjourney is gathering. What if that were sold, right? But Midjourney is not going that direction as far as I know. There's no news from David telling us that that's what's going on. It's only to be used for internal purposes is all that we've ever heard. And none of us have clicked a box to agree to anything else. So I just want to make sure that even though I was speculating about that anyone listening to this recording and anyone here is clear that Midjourney is not that. First of all, that I don't speak for Midjourney. Nothing coming out of my mouth has anything to do with it. I'm speaking independently. And secondly, that we've heard as a community no indication that that's actually happening. Nor ever will. So the next thing we were going to do was talk about any questions or problems about Midjourney. And someone was asking earlier about using OREF for objects or animals. Does anyone here have any experience with using OREF to transfer a sculpture or a building or an animal? I mean, I've only tried it once with a skyscraper, and I've been using that as my anecdote ever since. Johnny, you might have alt-tabbed and shifted your attention, but I'll pull you back in. Buildings are tough. Oh, you're already talking about it. Do you have your microphone?
Yeah, I kind of do.
Okay, so what using OREF, which is the omnireference tool, it's supposed to communicate buildings. What happens though? Is it just that the specific details don't carry over, or is it worse than that?
I mean, I've tried it like once or twice with buildings and OmniRef, and I've found that, I mean, I don't think I ever found a OmniWeight level that would actually, preserve the design of the building. And to do that through prompting, to supplement the reference image I think would require more architectural knowledge than I have.
Yeah, for sure. And that Midjourney has. I don't think Midjourney knows
Yeah.
most of these words. Wendy,
Yeah.
if you have your microphone, what did Victor have to say about it?
Oh, he was he was basically saying how ORF wasn't ready at this point, but watch this space was something he said, which I like, because obviously he works in the background with people and he's not allowed to say things, but every now and then he'll sort of push us and go, hey, don't worry, it's being improved, or he gives little tidbits to it. But yeah, it was really using video and honing in and capturing the scene and the building and the structure, and then we were doing certain things, and of course on the building might change or something, so we'd have to revert back. And the only way so we were basically like scanning a building inside and out, but by using video to walk into the building, to walk around the building, to drone up and down, elevate. And Midjourney loves you grab all those pictures of that building, like say 16 of them, and throw them into the stylize or throw them into a mood board. It starts to, that's how you're doing your he was doing really tremendous things with this castle. The entrance doorway stayed the same, everything. Yeah, so basically, but it's using video. Video seems to be the best way to get anything that's consistent now.
You can use OREF to help place characters into a scene, and you don't get the exact replica of the space, but you get the right kind of vibe, especially going it's especially if you're working in the kind of animated or 2D textures that we normally work in. It's not a precision craft. It's a vibe, and gives you the emotional space, right? It gives you the kind of idea of the castle that you can tell a story with. It's not giving you a replica, or it's not giving you that castle in a new location, because it's close, but it's close enough to tell the story with, but not close enough to create replicas. And Victor's whole is all about storytelling, right? So the way we're using OREFs is to kind of convey a narrative rather than an image.
As a consumer of graphic novels and stuff, and they have the characters in front of the spooky castle, and then the camera's moving around, and that spooky castle is not perfect. When humans recreate spooky castle in the background, I mean, maybe it'll still have 3 towers, but the windows aren't exactly the same. And the human mind is not the human mind creating the art by hand is also not able to perfectly rotate this building. And in fact, what I usually say when we have beginners confront me with this need is just that for most storytelling, it's not required. It's only if you're doing like photographic cinema or something where people will occasionally see a blooper, right? And say like, oh, haha, did you notice that at this episode of Friends, the window was open, and then when it was on his face, the window was closed, and when it was on her face, the window was open. People will talk about that, but people won't react if it's animated or a graphic novel.
It's so interesting to me reading through I got back into reading comics again recently, and it's amazing to me how some of my favorite artists are just really bad at certain things. It just or like how bad faces are, or scenes, or certain consistencies that I've come to demand out of the AI. It's really funny.
Yeah. Yeah, you see, I've done the same thing going back through old comics. I find that you see, God, they're very lazy, aren't they? They've done lazy through the scenes. It's tricks of the trade, where they go, oh, we'll just do that and do that this time, and just have them facing away from here. And yeah, you do spot it and think, oh man, they must have had a hangover this day during these couple of pages, Yeah, you do see it definitely. But when I was talking about keeping a consistent room, though, and consistent castle, we're talking about animation and for film and stuff. I was getting people to say, right, you want your two characters to walk into the room, but the room has to be always the same. It's the boss's office, let's say. So what I've done is I've got the character stand in the middle of the office, and then I've got a turnaround of the office from that view, and so I've captured all the scenes I need. So I've got screen of an empty office, but it's the same. It always stays the same, and I can then start my scene by getting that character to walk into it, and it's never going to change. And so I keep a consistency of all the buildings, or that New York street. I'm filming that scene. I've got all the captures of that of New York street now, but I can bring back action to later if I wish to, because I've So that's what we're doing with the when we're using the video, where we're capturing, we're basically making a replica of that office that's going to be always the same, or that street. And
Yeah, thank God
that's
you can make that up the first time. I mean, imagine if it was a real place, right?
Oh man,
You would
imagine
never.
the cost of closing down the street in New York.
Well, no,
You know,
that's not what I mean. I mean, imagine
Oh.
that your characters are walking around right outside the Louvre, where the glass pyramid is, and all of that. We're trying to recreate that in video in Midjourney, such that it looks like the real place, and then move your characters around in it is way harder. Not impossible if you're willing to have the vibe of the Louvre and not specifically the Louvre, but it's if you're starting with a made up place, the boss's office, I'm making it up. He has a desk there and a plant there and a window there. You can make that up. Great. You can even let Midjourney make it up. You can just say a boss's office, and Midjourney comes up with the desk and stuff. And now you can use that in your story very, very specifically, and that the boss's office stays very consistent. But recreating existing spaces in Midjourney is nearly impossible.
Yeah, again, I've been doing things like that you're talking about. So I haven't done the Louvre, but I could. All I do is I go and get the pictures. You start the video at the place. You get a real photo of that building, and you get all the angle shots you can, and you use those to create your character moving in and out of the video. You can actually even create that in that style all of a sudden I was using retexture. I was using it was actually a fight scene underneath the Eiffel Tower, and so I thought, well, yeah, the Eiffel Tower that's not what it's like at the bottom. And so I started to go and get photos of it, and I used the photos to start scene, and I was getting them to walk into the scene, and but I started to then retexture. I used all my the style reference of all my characters, and then tried to retexture the Eiffel Tower, so it came out the same style. But I was getting all the angles from photographs, so it was a real thing. And once I've got that steady and consistent, I keep using it. And so I've got something in the real world, and I've just recreated it in my style, and then I can use it through my film, animation, whatever. I don't do any of that. I just teach people how to do it, and so I've been learning myself how to do it, so I can show people how to do it in the real world. So yeah, outside spaces I think are great. You can just, because you've got photos of them, or you can go take a video of them.
I just don't.
And then you can.
I don't think Midjourney will do it. I don't think Midjourney will make. I don't think if you gave them 16 photos of different angles of the Louvre, I don't think Midjourney would onion skin or whatever transition correctly. I don't think it's possible. You'd have to.
You just get the characters to walk into that scene. You literally take.
Yeah, but how would Midjourney know? How could Midjourney possibly know what the scene behind them looks like?
It doesn't, of course not. No. This is why I get character turnarounds, or I get what's called a I call it a room turnaround at the moment, because I'm teaching people to go into a room and then do a turnaround in the room, and so you can capture all those angles that you want. So you've got the front door there, you've got the kitchen there, you've got the oven there, you've got the couch there, and so you can, wherever you want your character walking into scenes captured, and then you literally grab your character, your OREF, or your I will put 2 or 3 characters onto a blank what's it called, a 16:9, and then just say these three characters walk into scene, and they will just literally just totter on. They literally walk off into the scene that you've given them, the photo or the scene, the shot, and then you can start. Then that's you capture them in that scene, and you can start to direct them then. So that's how we've been sort of showing. But with that Louvre thing, I could have literally a photo. I could set. There's a scene there. There's a scene. Let's go back from it. Let's zoom back and let's get a capture from there. So I'm capturing. I'm giving myself an index of scenes for the characters to walk into. So I'm not asking Midjourney to imagine what's behind me. I'm already saying get them to turn around. I'm using photos to show what is around them and using those scenes in that within that picture range I've collected.
I still don't see it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it real quick. See if we can do this real quick. And
I can say something.
Yeah.
I have a folder. I have folders that I obviously have organized. And when I go to search or whatever, it creates in that folder for me. And like it'll say in like this folder such and such, it'll create inside of it, and then it only creates pictures for me that have that in there. Like I'll say I have one that said finding yourself in Paris, whatever, and I always have the Eiffel Tower in there.
Yeah.
So it always creates pictures with the Eiffel Tower in there.
Yeah.
For me.
I understand, because you've used the term Eiffel Tower in the picture, in the prompt, so it's able to filter it into that view.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You see,
or I'll just say finding yourself in Paris, and it does it for me.
Yeah, I'm not saying you give Midjourney 25 of these pictures and it's going to know its environment. I'm saying you're picking your environment, and then I'm retexturing all those pictures and that environment I've grabbed into the style that I want, and then I'm like taking that shot from there, and it's like, okay, there's going to be a meeting, a rendezvous at the bottom of that triangle thing, and so I can start with a scene where I zoom in towards it, and so I've got my start scene and my end scene of them standing there together. So I've basically grabbed that first image of them standing there. I've got the image of a close up of the triangle thing. Got what it's called, and I've got that. There's the triangle thing, and then there's two. And then what I've done is I've asked Midjourney to walk the characters into the scene. So there they are, and they're holding each other's hands or embracing or whatever. And I screen capture. Boom! I've got me frame, freeze frame. That's perfect. Then I go to the one that's extended outwards, and I get the camera, and I say, sometimes you don't have to tell it because it understands that this is the above scene to it, and then here the end scene is them two embracing. And it literally just zooms straight into them, and they're walking up to each other and embracing. Boom! It's like, wow, I've set scene already and kept it in style, and it's the Louvre thing. It's that thing, that triangle thing.
Triangle thing, I love it.
Yeah.
You'll find it, the triangle thing, if you ask.
Yeah. But do you see what I'm saying? So you can control the scene. This is where people are going. I'm cheating. People are coming into Learning Pro and they're asking about, I'm trying to make this video, I'm trying to make this film, and I'm trying to get to do this and do that. It's all about start and end scene, but it's about setting up a portfolio of that scene. But I mean, my computer's crammed with folders of bloody places now that I don't even care or know about. But I've done it to set it up to show people how you can make the setup, and it will be the Louvre or whatever that place.
Okay, so there's the Louvre as the, and you're saying and how do I add my characters?
Well, you already got your characters on a transparent background. I'm guessing a 360-degree turnaround of them.
Yeah, so but how do I add it to the video?
You're going to add it. Well, you want both your characters to walk up to each other in front of it. Is that what we do? Well, first of all, we need the scene where we're close up, because the character's going to walk into that. We're going to have a big problem with scale right now. Okay, so we don't want scales to walk into that. We want a close up, real close up of that bit of that building, where there's no people or anything. but then you'll have your characters. It's probably better for me to show you on my computer because I've got characters already cut out and ready to go. Because I use Kinky's
So
Kinky
you're
Kong
saying
and
use layers to put the characters here?
no, not at all. No.
Okay.
And what I'm doing is the scene is going to be really close up to that thing, isn't it? They're going to be like, because there's tiny little people there right now. My character's going to come in like giants, like Godzilla crushing the.
Well, hopefully
some-
they'll
some-
come in. Hopefully they'll come in the foreground.
Well, they'll be too tiny. You won't be able to identify them. You need a close up of the meeting. So first thing I want is I now need a photograph or a scene where I'm close up next to the pavement, a real one there, and or I could, if I can't find anything, get Midjourney to zoom in to it so it gives me that scene, and then I can use my my character reference that I've got of two characters. I can turn them facing each other on a transparent background on the same resolution, 16:9, and I can either put them together immediately or leave them apart on that transparent background. Then I will enter the picture into the video saying start frame, and the end frame is those two coming together. Midjourney will put two and two together and will walk those characters. Sometimes they'll walk through the triangle, by the way. They'll literally start walking through objects that are there to get to that position. But that's not what we care about. We care about scene. We want the scene where they are together in that real place, our two characters made up completely, and they've come together and they're there now. Then I've got my end scene for the zoom in to the meeting in the movie and or comic.
Okay, I understand. I understand what you're saying. It's a lot more. It's really not letting Midjourney do a whole lot of the work. It's the person doing the bulk of the work, getting the characters prepped, getting the place prepped, putting the characters in the place, and really you're just asking Midjourney to add a little bit of motion to work that you've already done. The process I would agree with. What I was hearing you say before we got into such incredible degrees of detail, thank you, was that you could just give Midjourney a place like this, and Midjourney will just like have a three-dimensional knowledge of the place. And I was just like, well, hold on, that can't be true.
As I say, I have a folder full of that area, of that arena, that one place in New York City, and I've now made it so Midjourney has captured scenes in let's call it in Midjourney mode, because Midjourney loves its own images. So once it's been created in that context, it's so much easier for it to. So yeah, I've had to store them myself, that scene, but once you've got the real, so outside world, I think it's a doddle to work with. If you want me to bring my character anywhere in the world that you've got photos of, I can do that, and Midjourney can do that, easily. And it's just, and it's
Midjourney. You're saying Midjourney can do it easily, but I'm hearing you describe a lot of workflow, a lot of process.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, once my characters are set up, it's easy.
I mean, Johnny, do you think newbies would be willing to go to that amount of work to get their? I mean, they come in thinking Midjourney will do more of it than what Wendy just described.
I can answer for Johnny, because Johnny sits and watches me teach people that come in new, and they do it and go, "Wow, I can't believe it!" So yeah, Johnny's alongside me all the time when I'm doing it. Yeah.
I can't imagine newbies believing that there are 35 steps before they can get a little bit of motion.
Right.
Yeah, they're good.
What
do you think, Johnny?
They need to be schooled.
I would be like,
Yeah, it's too much work.
Yeah, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, because when you're lazy when you first start, you're just like, I just want to.
Oh, yeah,
make
but
something.
They learn eventually.
We whip them into shape.
Yeah,
whip them up.
Yes.
Yeah, I honestly, I've had a lot of people where they think you can just ask for it if we do it, and then I've got to know, if you want the reality, this is the steps we're going to have to take, and I'll take them step by step through it all. I mean, that what you're seeing there is actually Kinky Kong's characters. I've had them cut out and perfectly made 3D edging on them, and I'm asking them now to walk into a jungle scene. Now I haven't got the jungle scene for them, but this is actually a poor example. I picked the wrong one. There's one where actually by the time they walk into it, there's a whole jungle scene there. And so I've got them set in that jungle. Now I could have a picture of that jungle already and get them to walk onto it. Yeah, I did pick a bad one. Of course I did. I picked one with no end scene where it's meant to have a jungle floor and everything.
Yeah, because you've done the end frame. And because you've done so you start with the empty place as the start frame and the two characters present to be the end frame.
Or vice versa. Yeah, you can do it both ways. Look, you see that what's happening on the second one? Boom,
yeah,
look at
I
that.
do.
So I'm looking at that scene, and about 2 frames before the send, click. I've got them in scene, and then I get them to walk up to a load of bongo drums and start doing some jungle music stuff. That's what Kinky was looking for. And so but I've got them walking into scene. Now because I didn't add the scene.
What sort of tools do you think Midjourney should design to make this less work? What?
Character rotation. I mean, it's character rotation. If they could set that up for us, that'd be lovely. Because I've ended up doing that myself, where I've grabbed the character that we've created with Midjourney in the style that Kinky wanted and everything, and then I've been able to take it out of Midjourney, and I've used the wand around it with a it's called a grow plus or minus. You go minus in by 0.1 pixel, and then we need something that cuts it out perfectly for the person, the character. No background scene. Yeah, and because Midjourney loves the edge detection on this character, because I've created a 0.1 3D edging to it, and Midjourney just soaks it up and goes, "Give it to me, baby." It loves border detection, and so by creating these two characters like this, I can walk them in sideways, upways, whichever I want, into scenes. Now, yes, it's a lot of work, but it really isn't compared to what the real world animation and filmmaking and all that.
I was just going to make that point.
This is a piece of piss.
That it's a lot of work. It's hours and hours of work, but to do the same thing traditionally is weeks and weeks.
Yeah. I set this system up in about 20 minutes. Ready to go with these two characters. I now use Kinky's characters all the time just because they're ready, and I've also got captures of them at different angles where I can have them walking in that direction, so it helps Midjourney straight away because I'm giving it the angle of it walking inside.
You have a library of ready to go images.
Well, it's a character sheet. Yeah, it's a character sheet. But I mean, and also you're able to rotate up. You're able to get a camera to rotate 360 degrees around him, up and down. I don't know how to use these 3D vector programs. But you can do that on a 3D vectorizer, blah, 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 and grids and shit. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. All I know is I can get this character from a drone point looking down, all around, and I've got my captured scenes. And I can always come back to this if I haven't got it. I go, I want him 3/4 angle, just facing, running towards the exit. And so Midjourney sometimes has it going, oh, I'll just run through a few chairs here and I'll jump on top of a table to get there. By giving it that angle towards the door, it'll just run straight to the door because you're giving it that positioning. It's honestly, it's so easy once you've got the groundwork done. But you need any groundwork. You've got your storyboard, you've got your characters.
We need a groundwork workshop.
I have it right here.
You have it right here.
I have to bring you over here.
Okay.
I can't do this. I'm like retarded with this. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to show you where are you? Hold on. I can do this on my phone, and I could do this here. I have to show you my board, or not board.
Oh.
It's just here.
Okay.
It's just here.
But yeah, Wendy, I think that's the two of us. I mean, I know that Victor's workshops are essentially that. Like, I'm sure he's walked reams of people through it before, but that's the hardest part. But at least when I'm working, when I'm sitting around trying to help newbies, if I tell them you need to create a library of character images first, and the way to do that is to create a video of that character and then take it out of Midjourney and then do capture frame, as the character moves around. They just say, never mind. I'll use Sora too. I'll use Nana Banana. I'll use. you know,
but it
like,
can't do it. It can't do all those things and keep things consistent. So I don't tell them in the way you're telling them. I say to them, "Oh, brilliant! Let me see your character. Have you already made your character?" Well, no, not really. Okay, so that's the first step, though, isn't it? We need to have the character, so you can put it in any scene. So who's the main character of your story? And they'll show me pictures of her, him, it, and I'll go, right, okay, this is your little alien buddy here. Right, what we need to do is get a character sheet of him. You know what character sheet is? And they go, yeah, that's so I start that way. So I start them instead of going, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. No, I don't do that. I do that a lot, but I don't. When a newbie come in, I ease them into it.
You don't reveal that it's 20 steps. You just reveal one step at a time and fool them
Yeah.
into getting started.
Yeah, and they're going, oh wow, this is incredible. And I said,
you're a
this
parent,
way,
aren't you?
I am a parent. Yes.
This is how you learn these techniques.
Yeah. And so don't draw them in and go, oh, you're gonna have to do this, do that. They're just gonna go, Mark, see you, mate. Yeah, you're very excitable, aren't you? Yes, I am. I'm a very passionate person.
Well,
so
I educate adults, and one of the things we're taught when you educate adults is you tell them the scope first. And then you break it, and then you start them on step one. So I would say, okay, this is about a 2-hour process. Takes about it's about 15 steps in about 2 hours. Okay, let's look at step one. And they're like, no, I can't do this.
Yeah,
but it isn't 2 hours. I should sneak it in on them like you do. Johnny, are you taking notes? You already do this, don't you, Johnny?
Yeah.
Johnny knows my technique, don't you? It's a technique. It's a technique that works right now, and it isn't, honestly. Within the hour, they'll have their character, their room, and they're getting it setting into the scenes. I mean, I've got Sevilla here in an office, and I just didn't have. I wanted the boss to walk in and sit down. I just didn't have one ready. So I said to him, "Okay, I've got this pink alligator of Kinkies. I'm going to get him to walk in and sit in the. Now we want them both sitting on the chairs, looking at each other to start the scene. But of course, he disappears. But I can capture the frame where he's sitting at the desk, and I've got start scene. And I've got plenty of scenes of that office all the way around 360 degrees. And so I can then start to direct what I want to happen in that scene because I've got both characters in there. And he will stay as a cartoon, by the way. And she will stay in her style as well. It's quite genius and very simple, really. Quite simple. You know, it's just the setup. It takes a bit of setup.
Takes a bit of setup. So Sutherland Bell says, wow, I'm a newbie and I just don't know where to start. These sessions are very helpful. It's amazing to watch you guys work. It's intimidating and overwhelming as a new user. It is. First of all, I'm going to say you've joined Promptcraft Live, which is our advanced users group. If you would like to join us for our sort of, I wouldn't say beginners, but not so advanced users group, that's on Saturdays at the same time slot. So come on down to that. In those sessions, we start quite simple, get everyone on the same page as to how Midjourney actually works, how Midjourney actually understands your prompts, and it helps you extrapolate to everything, just everything. It cracks it open. And then when you come back into the Promptcraft Live sessions, you'll go like, oh, this is why things are panning out the way they do, and why they break, why they don't break, that sort of thing. So definitely try that. Joseph says it's all about the process. You just got to make sure you ambush them with their own problems and you draw their attention to their goals, and then it's game. Wow, Joseph, what do you do for a living?
He's a psychologist. I'm guessing.
Excellent. Yeah, I think we should, or I should do a step-by-step. Like I'll play student, you play teacher, and we record it being done.
Yeah.
From nothing.
Yeah.
Heck, I'm trying to get Clarabelle this slide and it's not working.
Oh dear.
Let's see. Oh, anyone with the link. Okay, let's try it again.
Yeah. So I did a really difficult project with a very delightful Johnny Bones and Kinky Kong, and it was he did a Take on Me, the song on his YouTube video.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And part of our music jams that week we're going to use Johnny's song used some OREFs and some bits of some mood boards that were made up of the Take On Me video, and trying to get end and start scenes there, getting Johnny as the character to come in and out and do things. Oh, it was it was
Do you
fun.
have the final video yet? Because I've been waiting for it.
Oh, it was released last Thursday? It was released, or
Was
did I
it
do
last
that?
Actually,
Thursday?
she hadn't finished it, but tonight is the video jam. So
Tonight is the video.
might,
Oh, so we might see
might
it
have
then,
it done by
right?
then.
Okay. I look forward to it.
Because in the scene, I think Johnny had a hairdresser or a female doing his hair with different colours and stuff, and she also had colours in her hair. So to get her to blend into the style and make it the Take On Me. I mean, I honestly, I wish I could have took the reins and just gone, sorry guys, I know this is a community thing. Can I just do it myself? Because I'm going to make it just like the video, but use all the characters will be real, Johnny Bones and the girl in the hairdresser's chair, or wherever it was. But yeah, that's one of the scenes I did where it's actually the scene from Take On Me where the girl goes to the window in the real video. And I've got it, so it's her, that woman, rotating around. That took me 7 goes to get that right. But hey, that's Take On Me, and that's her. That's the character.
That is incredible devotion to the project.
But Midjourney's really good at it. If you know how to use the tool, it will come. You've got to have a little patience with it a little bit, to trying to get a photograph turn into that style, but then still keep the faces human. It did take a few runs, but otherwise it shows what's possible. It's using the same technique I was just teaching though, but I just had to get her as a character like that, and then have her enter that scene, And
try it, Craft.
Hey, can you hear me?
Hey.
Sorry, I'm gonna put the link in the chat here so you can see. I don't even know what I'm doing here, so I don't really care. Here we go. Maybe not. There we go. And I'm gonna show you what I do here. And wait, can I share my screen? I think I can.
You can't.
No? Okay.
Sorry. Unless you've got permission. Oh, you're not got permission though.
Oh, I just wanted to say that's exactly the wonderful world of stuff. What's your name again?
Wonderful
Me?
stuff.
Yeah.
Wendy.
Wendy.
Yeah.
Simone.
The video you made, that style, that's exactly a prime example of why humans still need to be involved in making the AI creations, because of that level of control that makes it awe-inspiring once you finally achieve it.
Yeah.
Versus just relying on an LLM to create it for you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, but eventually it will get easier, won't it? I mean, to get that one. Somebody said to me, "How do you get the capture of her just turning around?" And it is literally one frame out of this video set here. I'm going to put on the screen. Put on the thing. If you look at, she'll turn around for that one split second. Boom! It switches between her and the character in the real video. But I've got that 1 second frame, that one frame, which I use as an end frame, which is it's just before her hair, she turns into the other person. So I had to set that scene up by walking from a photograph of that's a real photograph of the 2 guys together, and I got her to sit, and the end frame was the real video of Aha. And so, but as I say, it's really, really quite simple, right? But a clever trick.
It was quite complicated up until that point, though, wasn't it?
It was complicated until that point. If I'd started you from the beginning, maybe not. but from coming into this point,
if you had to guess, how many generations did it take before you reached this?
Oh, I can have a look. Hang on. This one took 4 to get that one capture. So 4 quads, which was pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with that. That's yeah. To me, that's a win. It was because the woman's hair, she kept turning around. Because Midjourney being Midjourney, I always test it in 4 stages. I'll run it in raw, low, high and low standard. So I'll run them all 4 immediately. So I get 8 quads, and usually I find my scene with my capture that I need within those 4. It's just because they all do so many different crazy things. With going in raw, you get more exact what I'm asking for. With Whereas with high motion, it gets a bit erratic. But sometimes out of that erratic environment, also I get the scene I needed. Where I can
Yeah,
go,
because
boom,
you're going to go
to
through
that
and
frame.
examine it frame by frame. You know what I wish I had? Maybe you can tell me that this exists. I wish I had a tool that just took the video that Midjourney made and put it out like a ribbon of all 200 frames. Is there such a tool?
Well, a video editor, yes.
Well, that segments it frame by frame for me?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, honestly, any video editing software you throw it in there. You can elongate it to be every single frame. Yeah. What? You're confusing me.
No. I mean, you're right, but it doesn't show me where there's no line where the frame ends.
Once you put it in there,
you
scrub through them all. You scrub through all the frames.
Yeah. And on a video editor, you can elongate it to be literally every single frame, and it will border them as well. So yeah, any video editor will do that.
All right, I've got a video editor. I'm bringing it up right now. It's a good one. It's a pro video editor. I'm gonna throw it up here. Okay, and then I'm going to take a random video that you've posted. This is the Take on Me video. Okay, I'm gonna download it. Give me just a second. Open in browser. Oh, it downloaded it. Good. It's called 0.mp4. Okay. So then I'm going to add it as import media 0.mp4. Okay. And now I'm going to put it down here as my first track. And then I'm going to zoom in a lot. I'm going to maximally zoom. And then I have this one big thing. So where are my frames? Why don't I have I don't have a ribbon of 25 frames. I have a keyframe which identifies what the track is, and then a big empty. Yes, all of them do it. So you're saying that I have exactly the one existing the one in the entire field that doesn't do it.
I guess you want to see them all at the same time, huh?
Yeah, I want to see. You see how this has a little square at the bottom with a frame in it? I want to see all 200 of them.
I've used Topaz
I mean, if you
AI.
select the middle of it, then you'll see it above, but you just won't see them all at the same time. There's that one.
No, I mean, I know that I can look at them this way, but what I can't do is see them all in a ribbon and then pick the one I want to go to. That's what's really frustrating for me.
Topaz has that timeline where you can like use the mouse wheel to zoom in on, to like stretch out the timeline, and it shows you like pretty much all the frames if you zoom in all the way.
Okay. I have Topaz too. I think I have all of the Adobe products. Do any of the Adobe products do it?
I'm not
Maybe
familiar
Premiere.
with them.
I can try Premiere. Okay, let me quit out of this one. Let me try Premiere. But that's why I stop and don't grab frames from videos, because I cannot sit there and scrub 3 billion times trying to find it. I just want to see the ribbon of 200 and go, this one. You know?
Yeah, you can usually do that though. Most video editing software, 99% of them. I've never seen that before. You click it in, it doesn't show
Premiere
it you.
now.
Yeah, and the easiest way to get the frames from Midjourney, of course, is to right click and open it in Chrome as a separate image, and then you can scrub through yourself, right? And you'll see all the frames there, right? I'm sure it just does it on normal Chrome.
No, I can't see all the frames. I can scrub through them, but I can't see them all.
You can't pause. Oh, you can't. No, not with Midjourney. That'd be nice for Midjourney, wouldn't it? I suppose so. You can see all 20 odd frames or something.
Would be nice.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So here's Premiere Rush. Create a new project. Oh, you guys can't see it. Hold on.
What I'm confused about is why you wouldn't see the frame. I literally splice into frames second by second where there might be a collision or a crash, and we don't actually want to see the impact on these videos I was editing that time. So you just see them almost hit, and I would literally be splicing that literal scene into the
New
next scene,
project.
and that was frame by frame inside the thing every time. I don't think
Select
I did anything
media to create
special.
a new product. Desktop, documents, downloads. Now, where? Heck, Premiere Rush. Where's my video? Oh, it's load. It's taking a long time to load. Okay, here's my video. Creating the project. Now I've also in my other window I've got.
Hey, there you go. Hey.
Oh, thank God. Thanks. Michelle gave me Rush. Okay. See now I can see which one I want to go to. Otherwise, you got to understand, Wendy, when I scrub and it doesn't have this ribbon, I can't remember the last thing that I clicked because of my brain issues.
Yeah, I've never seen a video. What you're doing there is what all video editors do. When you were saying, I thought, what on earth are you using? Are you mobile phone or something?
Ladies and gentlemen, Camtasia.
Yeah, professional.
Camtasia. TechSmith, are you listening? Camtasia.
Yeah. So yeah, don't use that.
Okay, so thanks, Wendy, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so we do have this Premiere Rush, which is very easy to get your hands on, and then I can grab a particular. Now, how do I export this particular? I can't. I can't export it.
Export what? The actual frame.
The frame.
Oh, you cut it out, don't you? Use your. Yeah.
You mean I have to splice and splice until it's just a one frame video?
No, you can take a screenshot.
You can drag it in,
but isn't that really low res?
It is low res. Don't screenshot now. Yeah. What you do is you can zoom those. You can push those lines into the exact frame, I think, and do it that way. There you go. So you can actually capture the one for it. That's the quickest way, I'd say. And then you save it as a. Oh, you don't do that. Control Z.
Do you use Premiere Pro? Even if you don't know how to use a lot of it.
I do have Premiere Pro.
You can do that. You can. Yes, it does, and it actually has a specific export image freeze frame.
Let's do that, guys.
Oh, good.
Okay,
I use it a lot in editing.
And people, and understand, guys, that Adobe is expensive, and you might not. But a free software that does the same thing is called DaVinci, and it is brilliant, and it will do all the things you asked me to do. DaVinci is the one I recommend to people because of the subscription base with Adobe.
Yeah, I have the paid DaVinci Resolve, but even if you don't have the paid DaVinci Resolve, it's extremely powerful.
Yeah, and there is a lot of tutorials out there that it's like you're not going to be stuck going, oh, how do I do this? It's a very well-known editor, and there's some guys out there. I can't remember the guy who teaches, the one with a beard with a bit of grey and black in it. He's really clever. I learned all my DaVinci stuff from him on YouTube. All the tricks.
Send me a link to him. I wonder if it's the same guy I watch.
Yeah, it will be him. It's got to be because he's the best at it. I'll go look for it.
My download started.
There's only a few, but they're really good.
I am streaming and downloading at the same time, which is a really bad idea. But if you're just joining us, you've joined the tail end of Midjourney Promptcraft Live, which is a podcast-like event with a bunch of different speakers sharing their expertise. It is our advanced users event. So if you had questions about using Midjourney, this would be a great place to ask them. However, we are just 10 minutes to close at this point. So I don't think we can fit any deep questions in here, but I wanted to thank our guest speakers very much. We had Simone speak, we had Kraft, we had Westendorf, we had Wonderful World of Stuff, we had incredible participation from those of you in chat. What we didn't have, which I promised last time, was the live dog camera, which was working until Legal Beagle showed up, and then it stopped working. So, but I'm sure that's just a coincidence that he wanted just one dog, one dog in the show. The Southern Belle, Clarabelle, you two are our newest users, and you are the ones that ask the best questions, and I really appreciate that. Clarabelle had the questions about what kinds of words to use in prompts, and I just gave her a slide. I'd be happy to share this slide with other folks. Let me show you what it is before we go. And those of you who spot it and decide it's something that you want, we can absolutely give you the link. This is the slide. It's just an example of the type categories of words you can use in prompts. Does anyone else want a copy of this? Can give you the link.
Yeah.
I'll just put the link in.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
This
Yes,
is
ma'am.
this is a slide from the beginners class.
Yeah.
We also have, if you're here on Midjourney official Discord server, we also have this FAQ, which I just linked in the chat, which is craft aesthetics with words, which it just can go alongside these sort of words.
I made the mood board for you for the deer. And let me get you the,
Okay.
you know, the one that was photo bombing.
Yes.
Hold on, let me get the and they do give you like a profile, like almost an SREF kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
That's giving me.
Oh yeah, anyone using the ranking, the style ranking as well. If you want to use that image yourself, like say you've got a prompt already preset, the last prompt you did, while you're ranking, if you just click your Shift key, press it in, and then click on the style that you like, it will open up in a new window and let you try the style. It's the only way you can try the style. Because I thought, oh, this should be a way of trying the style here. I don't like this, and then that's the way to do it. You just Shift, click on the one you want to try. It will open up as a whole thing, and then then just click Try Style, and then I go back and heart it to say. So I'm seeing loads of.
I'm gonna let me go in and show that so that you're not just saying it out loud into. Okay, so you're saying if you go to the rank styles, and so you're like, oh, I like this one. There's a way to heart it.
Key.
There's a way to. So you.
Okay. That one. That's still it's there. That was quicker.
That was much quicker. So you just
open
click
a new
the
window as well
itself, or you click like.
Oh no!
Where do they go? Where do they go?
It wasn't there earlier today.
Oh, here. If you click Explore, and there's a little likes tab right here, all of your styles are here.
Does this go for the other ranking stuff too, for like ranking images aesthetics?
If you heart it.
Yes.
Yeah, I've hearted it, but I never know where it goes.
It goes. You got to click the likes in Explore, and then click likes, and then you can go to your liked videos, your liked images, and your liked styles.
Oh my gosh!
I know it's like right there, but it's so low contrast, people don't see it.
Yeah.
Clarinet, can you go in? Okay, it's under my mood board called Dear Photo Bomber. So usually there's so.
Do you want to give me the link? Just grab it from your address bar.
Yeah, if I join, I'm gonna have to come back. So that's just my computer right now fighting with me. So I'm gonna put it in. Hopefully you'll get it. You get it?
I got it. No, I got Emphasis. No, it's Emphasis.
It's kind of
you can unlike
track of. It doesn't keep track of all the images though.
The Dear Photo Bomber.
It doesn't keep track of what? Sorry.
You'll see.
No,
it did it itself. I did not do it. It just kept. So I was trying to make her grow up. This is me, and I was trying to show how I grew with my dad, and it was supposed to be in the distance. I said in the distance, you'll see the prompts, and it kept coming back and photo bombing. And for some reason, Paris is in here. Sorry about that. So yeah, I was just like, it just kept coming back. And then there's some really weird ones that came in. I'm just like, oh my.
Yeah, it saved like barely any of the images and videos.
Right, it's a bug. We're bugged right now. It's not you.
Sorry, Midcraft. Yeah.
The likes are bugged. They only show a fraction of the ones you've liked. That's because as they play with the code, the different batches of times that you've liked things fall through the cracks or not.
I see. Is that going to get
one
fixed,
day they'll
or?
all be there.
Got it.
Yeah.
How long has it been like that?
At
Since that
least
started.
what?
Since it started, you talk about liking SREFs, hearting them since the day it opened, the SREF Explorer.
I didn't notice until I got until my likes started building up. So okay,
Yeah.
I agree. It could
This
have
one
been from
says
the very
using
day.
prompts. Yeah, it says using prompts until it becomes a profile.
All right, I'm installing DaVinci. It is quite a huge deal.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it's a proper pro pack as well, and it's free. I mean, they say you can pay for
Yeah, it's
advantages.
like an 8 GB application.
Yeah, easily. Yeah.
I hope
huge.
it's not
Super
installing to my
useful.
C drive, otherwise I'm doomed. I'll have to uninstall it right away. It didn't ask me where I
It will
want to
be.
install it.
It should
Not
well,
yet.
I don't. Yeah, I tried when I install it on my Mac. It goes straight to the hard drive. It doesn't give me an
It does.
option.
It does.
It
Yeah.
does?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Are you on Windows?
I am.
Windows, it can redirect it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah, because on Mac I can't redirect it for some reason.
You
Right
can't
now, it won't let me redirect.
Not now. No. You already started the process, right?
Hmm.
It's asking me to. It's installing DaVinci Resolve. Wait, this operation could take some time. Okay. It's going to take some time. All right. So thanks everyone for joining Promptcraft Live, by the way. And I assume that Wonderful World of Stuff will continue the conversation down in Learning Pro.
Yeah, sure.
Is that where you're heading next? Because I will
can head
teleport
there,
everyone
yeah.
to join you.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. It's just
Okay.
All
right. I will sign off the stream and then I'll start teleporting down to Learning Pro for those of you in Discord.